It's January 29th, 2015. It's Tuesday. It's Harp Tuesday! Welcome to the last Harp Tuesday of 2015. And what I thought I would do here is start a look at my Fantasy on Greensleeves, the lever harp version. So this is a piece I wrote in 2012 on the suggestion of a Harp Tuesday viewer. I was looking for topics, and the suggestion was, why not talk about how to arrange a piece? And that ended up being this Fantasy on Greensleeves, sort of a theme and variations. So you can watch, I think there's about 6 episodes on the process of composing it, which is kind of interesting. And I wrote it for the pedal harp, and there's a music video of me playing it on the pedal harp. But I also realized that it could be adapted for the lever harp. So the very last variation, very fast, or last couple, I guess the last variation, this little cadenza, don't work because we can't do all the lever changes, because both hands are too busy. But everything else works, and so I wrote a little bridge section instead, and I think it's a nice piece for the lever harp, so I thought I would talk about it. And we're going to start by looking at the intro and the theme, and I'm going to try to do an episode every week here to finish this one off fairly quickly. So before we start, of course, we're in the key of G with our F's sharp, and we also have this lower C and this higher C set to C sharp. And I'm using these little diamond shapes to indicate which notes are sharp or flat or natural, etc. So this little intro that I just played So a couple things to talk about on that. One, just a technical aspect. You'll see I've got a bracket over all 3 right-hand notes. We've got 3, 1, 2. Even though that's out of order, right? Normally, we would place in only one direction, right? That rule of only placing in one direction. So we're going from a lower note to a higher note, we'd place those. And now we're turning around, going from a higher note to a lower note, and we would place 2. Or maybe we'd do 2, probably 2, 2, 1, 2. And you can do that, of course. But sometimes these rules are made to be broken, and this is a reasonable spot to place all 3 of them. It means we don't have to worry about sneaking our finger in onto this A and avoiding buzzing. We got all 3 notes placed. Works quite nicely. So just something to be aware of. That's what I mean by having a bracket over all 3 of those notes. We'll place all 3 of them before playing. And you'll notice that the bottom 2 notes stay the same. It's just the thumb that moves. And the left hand stays the same, so it's pretty easy to memorize. And you'll see I've got these triplets because we're in 6/8. It's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 1. At the end, we've got a duple, and it's just instead of writing a retard there, we're just changing the retards written in by this slightly slower rhythm. But the whole thing, so musically, I think we can think of this whole thing as kind of getting more intense and then backing off. And we don't want to do a huge extreme. We don't want to go. Right? We could do that, but I think that's not appropriate. That's not exactly what we want to do. But we're setting up this piece, so a sense of nice relaxation, just so getting a little bit more intense as we get in. And backing off a little bit, not too much, because we still got the rest of the piece to go. We don't want to do a huge big retard and then oh, is it over? No, we still got the rest of the piece. So anyway, just a little, we're not hearing the tune yet. It's just a little taste, a little anticipation of kind of what's to come. Then we get the theme. So we hear Greensleeves for the first time. there we are into verse 1. So let's talk about this. Let's see. Right hand. These fingerings are the ones I put in. They work for me. Obviously, there's lots of other options. So, for example, I'm starting with 3-2. And again, one thing with fingerings is often you want to be coming off on the longer note, right? So on that G, we get a chance to breathe, we get to come off, and then we want to place ready for this faster notes. We could do 2-1. I like 3-2 in part because it sets us up a little bit closer to where we're going, and also because maybe the thumb doesn't always sound quite as nice. Like I think 3 and 2, they're both fingers, so we're going to get maybe a slightly better or more consistent sound over those two notes. Very marginal, but again, coming off, going down 2-3 here. Anyway, so I think the fingerings I've got there work fairly well, but of course, you're always free to adapt them as you need. And with this left hand, I wrote it originally with left hand harmonic plus a single note. So let me just flip the harp around so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, this should be good. So here's, of course, a normal harmonic. There's also double harmonics where we're trying to hold both strings and I did an episode on that. You should be seeing a link here. But in this case, especially when we're trying to play this fourth instead of a third, trying to do a double harmonic is a little more difficult. But in this case, I wanted a harmonic and a normal note on the bottom. So we get our harmonic position, normal harmonic position, and then we're just going to kind of do our best to play this bottom note with, not our normal closing motion, but, and again, not maybe the normal part of the finger that is playing it, but just kind of an upright. It's almost like we're standing upside down or something. So instead of pointing down, we're pointing up and just doing our best to play that bottom note. Concentrating on the harmonic, of course. So it's quite possible that, of course, this kind of gets stopped a little bit. It can be hard, especially with a third, to get the bottom note to sound. I think what's most important is the harmonic. And I also include in the if you buy this sheet music, there's an easy version for pedal harp, which basically cuts out the last variation, but it also includes the suggestion, just play the harmonic, right? Don't worry about trying to play that bottom note, because that's going to sound fine. And one final option is you might play just the chord. Like if you're not feeling super happy with your harmonics, you could always just play the chord without any harmonics, and that kind of sounds nice too. But if you do want to try to do the harmonic plus the lower note, that's how you do it. You get the harmonic, and then just try and do whatever you can to play that bottom note. So let me switch the harp back around. Great, here we are. So one final thing to talk about, I guess, is just the rhythm, how the hands fit together when we get to this refrain. Whoa. So if we analyze this here, visually it kind of shows what we're doing, but if we analyze this, we'll see that the right hand has a dotted eighth note, so that's worth 3/16. So that means these three notes with the left hand, 2/16 plus a quarter, but they're 3/16 essentially. They are all happening, and then the right hand comes in right after. So it's a succession of 16th notes. So if we're counting 16th notes, we'll have, of course, 12 in a bar. So we would count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. Or if we're counting eighth notes, we would count 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2 and 3, 1 and 2. And here, of course, the right hand doesn't come immediately after because we have a quarter note instead of a dotted eighth. 1 and 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1. So just being, you can always break that down and double check. Is the right hand coming in with the last left hand note? No, we're finishing the last left hand note. 1, 2, 3, 4. The right hand comes in on the next beat most of the time, right? The next 16th note beat. Anyway, there we have the introduction and the theme. And next week I will look at variation 1. So happy New Year, happy early New Year, and all the best to you in 2016. And we'll be back again soon. Cheers.